Well, what is up, boys? Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Racing Dudes Live. We've got, of course, the late pick 4 coming up here at Fairgrounds, Louisiana Derby Day. How's it going, guys?
Man, it's going wild, right? I was half asleep just watching racing, relaxing, and then the news of Life is Good broke. And so now the Kentucky Derby looks to be pretty wide open all of a sudden. But overall, it's been a good day so far, and boy, very excited for these last 4 races at Fairgrounds.
Yeah, Vinny, last time you were on we were all together, I guess, on the live stream. It was when Life is Good romped, and we all kind of had that debate. And of course, the number came back huge. And so, Vinny, I guess, where do you obviously you're not on Life is Good anymore, whether it be because of the, because I know you and I kind of stood up and said, no, like, hang on, like, the way he was coming out. Then you see the numbers, and I know you were like, based on numbers, this horse is just way better than everyone else. So now we have to go back to the drawing board, so to speak. Are you back Essential Quality?
Him or Concertor? Concertor did that what was it, the Rebel? That was that was beyond impressive. So interesting to see what Baffert does with him now. I think he stays in Santa Anita with Concertor.
Well, yeah, that's Halter and I were talking about that earlier. It's like, that's the ramifications that we're about to find out with all these horses. Everyone that was leaving town because of Life is Good, and, how many horses stay? How many horses go back? Charlie, he runs this today. And it's like, if he runs poorly and needs points, maybe he stays out and see, what is that, 2 weeks? So it's possible, but yeah, you're going to have a situation where you have a lot of these horses that are going to reroute, so to speak, because of no Life is Good.
Yeah. I mean, you've got California horses running away from California as quickly as they can. And now will they repivot? I mean, you've got Roman Centurion for one that was like, well, we're probably going to go to the Wood. I bet they could go to Santa Anita now. You've got, Spielberg, who's supposed to be going to the Florida Derby next week. Maybe he sticks around. So I'm sure Hot Rod Charlie would have loved to have known that news as well. So we'll see what happens. It's going to be very interesting now, as the scramble is definitely on. This was a huge domino to fall.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's one of those things that's really not that surprising, just because of how unbelievable he was running, who he's trained by, that has a very, track record of horses getting hurt, whether it be a combination of things we won't get into, what he could or could not be on. But basically the horse is being pushed, and whether it be naturally or what. But the good thing for Bob is that he's got a lot of options. So like you say, Concert Tour looked really damn good in the Rebel. But yeah, I think it's, back to the drawing board, so to speak. I kind of had thought Essential Quality was after that day. And then I looked at that race, more looked at the numbers, like, dude, Life is Good. I mean, it's just, if he gets in that race like this, he's going to be really, really hard to beat. It's back to Essential Quality versus Concert Tour, which to me is a very much a close race, in terms, they're very much the same. And I think, these last starts are going to tell us a lot. But hey, let's get into start talking a little bit about the pick 4 here, because a good day of racing at Fairgrounds. It really gets going now. We just had the last race, so we kind of got a bad beat there with the 2 getting caught at the end, knocked us out of some things. But we're here for the late pick 4. Let's talk a little bit about, what is this first one coming up? The New Orleans Classic. So, we talked a lot about this on the podcast on Blinkers Off. What do you do with Owendale?
Listen, everybody has my opinion on Owendale, so I'll let Vinny go first. What are you doing with Owendale here?
I'm fading him. I'm fading him. I've just never been a huge fan of him, and like he's beaten me. I think he's beaten me once that I haven't played him, and that was it. So I think whatever one of those derbies that he won, he beat me. But I'm not a huge fan, so I'm looking elsewhere.
No, I mean, same for me. I have him defensively, but yeah, I went with the three Olis, Oli, my boy here, if I could say it right. I just think this horse, is kind of progressing while the other one, or some of the others, I should say, in this race, we just kind of know what they are. And maybe Oli, my boy, isn't quite good enough, but yeah, this field is a lot of, boy, they've been disappointing a lot. And you've got Owendale at a short price. But listen, Jared, I know that you've got a completely different opinion here.
Well, I did, but with cross border scratching out the Muniz Memorial, that was kind of my main key horse there that I was going to use to try to beat Colonel Liam. Seems like Colonel Liam is going to be the one, obviously that you want to look at single in that sequence now a little bit more. I mean, I'm at the thought of this. I just think Owendale is just better than the rest of this group. Like to me, it came down to being more about him just outclassing the field versus him. The pace doesn't set up great for him. There's a lot of things that may be going against him, but I just feel like he's beat all these horses in this field, like this class of horses in this field, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. This field, I mean, let's face it, he is the class of the field. There's no doubt about it. But I don't know. He's burned me so many times. I'm like Vinny. Unlike Vinny, I guess I should say, though, I've played him a lot, and he just burns me every time. And I just hate him here at even money. I just can't stand that price. But my 3 was 12-1 morning line. It is now 4-1. So I don't like that so much either.
All right, we were watching this. You and I are playing in a tournament here at Santa Anita, and 4 wins at 30-1 with all the strikes on the board, which I tried to beat. And I mean, like, I don't even know how you get to that 4. Boy, that's brutal. Yeah, I mean, listen, he's gonna have to. I just feel like he's like Owendale is just. It just feels like to me that he's just gonna kind of be classier than the rest and kind of go by him. What are you guys gonna do with Roadster? Because obviously, yes, that is the Roadster that we haven't seen since last March with Bob Baffert. Now he's with Michael Stidham. Got JV to ride. If you kind of, when you looked at the handicapping this race, you're trying to find the pace, because I feel like the pace is there. Or the pace is it's lacking pace, and could he be one that can kind of go?
I guess, yeah, he probably is the one that's the likely pace setter, because we have seen him kind of go on the lead. But although I really think he's best when he comes from off of it a little bit. And you said, like, this is a huge key. Who is going to go to the lead? And whoever does is going to have a huge, advantage. I think the 6 Chess Chief is the other one, especially with Luis Saez aboard, that could go to the front. I think it's got to be one of those two. Boy, I'm not sure on what Roadster will do. We haven't seen him in almost a year. It's a new trainer. Usually when they get away from Bob Baffert, it's not the greatest thing. Roadster's the mystery. I guess he can win here, but I don't trust him either. I do like 4-1 a little bit better, though.
Yeah. You go.
What we at 3-1, 4-1,
Mm-hmm.
even money on Owendale. We are sitting here, about 1 minute to post here. So Michael Myers says Baffert couldn't get him to win at this distance, can Stidham.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
No. If it's Baffert, maybe you're more confident, but I don't think so.
Even Baffert was like, give me get rid of this horse, please. I wanted to pick the 6 Chess Chief. I thought that horse was interesting here. Just off, looking for a pace situation that the horse might show some front end speed a little bit, set the pace, and likes fairgrounds. Hasn't won this distance, but gets Luis Saez. I thought he was interesting, sitting there right now at 6-1. But I'm gonna hang on my thoughts. I mean, I just think Owendale it's hard to say this, but just outclasses them.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I know your strategy was to go short here and then go long in the next race to try to get a price in that 12th race to beat Colonel Liam. And listen, if it works, you're going to get paid. That's the good news. The bad news is if it doesn't work, you could be in some trouble here because Owendale is always a shaky favorite, no question about it. But listen, we'll see. Alex said 0 minutes of posts. They're getting ready to walk towards the gate. Look, I hate the board. I really, honestly, guys, I think enforceable at 11-1 is probably the play. If you're going to play like a straight wager, he probably shouldn't be 11-1.
No, he shouldn't. He should not be 11-1. I agree with that.
Yeah. But I can tell by your voice, you're not real excited either. So.
I don't really. Nick likes him a bit, but he was not super confident in him. I'm on the 6 Chess Chief. I think his tactical speed. I think he one of those that's going to be. It should be a slower pace, and he can take off turning for home and hopefully not get caught. But yeah, I was really just against Roadster and Owendale here. So I have 3. My pick 4 is 3, 6, 8. So
Jared Bush says, "How can you not like Colonel Liam at 3-1?" Well, I like him at 3-1, but there's no way you're going to get.
I love him at 3-1.
Yeah, I love him. He can lock in 3-1.
No way he goes off 3-1.
Sign me up. All right, Halterman, this is your moment, your big moment. You said you were calling the races today.
Yep.
There's a very high bar with who we have on the show normally with Slim.
Yeah.
But let's see if you can do. So they are in my feed. They're loading into the gate right now. We have a few horses left.
Yep, we got 2 horses left. So just a warning, I did not practice this one very hard, but the next 3 I should be better at.
All right.
So this one, our excitement level is very low, and the announcing will be very low. But all right.
Let's take it to track announcer Aaron Halterman.
They're in the gate at the fairgrounds. That was John G. Dooley. All right, here we go. They're in the gate, and they're off to a perfect start. And it looks like jumping out to the lead is the horse we kind of thought. It is Chess Chief, but quickly, Owendale and Roadster are out there, and Chess Chief kind of got taken back there by the jockey. Yeah. Don't know what he's doing. But anyway, it's Roadster out on top. Looks like he went off at 5-1 there last click. Roadster on top, and Owendale sits the perfect stocking trip in second, much closer to the pace than normal. 24-11 for the opening quarter. To Roadster out on top. It is Owendale sitting second, 4-5 Owendale. Ole, my boy, in third. Enforceable in fourth. Up the backstretch they go. There's the trees, and we can't see anything at Fairgrounds. Gotta love when that happens. All right, they're still behind the trees, but we still have Roadster in front. Roadster in front. Owendale in second. Nothing has changed. Ole, my boy, in third. Enforceable fourth. They're all tightly grouped, though. They 48-3 for the opening quarter for Roadster. They're all within about 4 lengths of each other. It looks like Enforceable going to try to make an early move up the rail. He's getting outran at this point, though. It's still Roadster in front. Owendale second. Ole, my boy, in third. It looks like now Sonneman has jumped into fourth. Enforceable, not today. He's not firing. Chess Chief now coming with a run. We thought Chess Chief would be in front. He's way behind now in fifth. Here we go, into the stretch. Owendale has taken over. Ole, my boy, right there. Enforceable trying to hang with him. Chess Chief for Vinny on the outside. Now he's coming with a run. Chess Chief.
Oh, come on with the 6.
Owendale in front. Owendale trying to outfinish Roadster. They're 1-2. Enforceble's re-rallying on the rail. It's Owendale in front. Enforceable flying late. Chess Chief on the outside. Chess Chief on the outside.
Oh, Owendale
Chess
got
Chief,
it.
Owendale and Enforceable hit it together. I think Owendale got it.
Gross. I'd never win photos. Absolutely gross.
I tried to tell you guys Owendale was good. It was a lock. I mean, how you do it the whole way, right?
Owendale gets the photo, I believe. Enforceable gallops out about 20 lengths ahead of them. Enforceable looked done and then re-rallied. I don't know what that means. That was a wild race.
The Naira stream is flashing the 6 on the photo. Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I don't think that's right though. Live, that looked like Owendale held.
Unless the feed is crazy, I don't see how the 6 won.
I don't either, but like they've been doing it all day on the showing on the fairgrounds thing after the race. They highlight the number in gold on the side, like as if it was the favorite, and they have Owendale's number. They're not Owendale. They have Chess Chief's number highlighted, but yeah, they just flashed the 6. I don't think he won that. I can't believe if I'd be happy, but I don't see how he won that.
Wow.
That must be
the
most
6. They've posted the 6.
It was his nose down, maybe, or I don't know. I mean, that even slowed down. It didn't look like he won. I would be shocked. I've
yet to see an angle that the 6 was ahead of the 2. All right. Well,
he was my best bet of the day, so I'm kind of happy about that. But yeah, they made it official too. I would love to see the picture. I'm more shocked than anything.
Wow. I love Jared Bush. I told you, Chess Chief. I said 6. Well, yeah, but yeah, you knew it the whole way, right? Okay, well, Chess Chief. Wow. Interesting. I mean, when it comes to the ride, I mean, I thought Owendale did or Flo did what you should do there. No pace and just kind of sit close. And I guess maybe being a little closer burned him out a little bit. He tried. I mean, shit. If back in Owendale there, could the stretch run been any longer?
Listen, there's a lot to unpack here. Number one, Vinny, I'm going to ask you this because you like Chess Chief. How pissed were you when this horse was way behind?
Yeah, I didn't like that. I mean, I was hoping he wouldn't be the pace setter just because the pace hasn't been holding all day. But I mean, I kind of expected him to be sitting where your 3 was, like a length or so right behind the leaders. He was so far back, and then he started moving. And he was all out on the turn. I didn't think he was going to get there either. I still don't think he won.
I can't wait to see this replay. Yeah. I've seen I guess I have seen it once, and I had no idea that the 6 would have won that. It seemed to me the 2 still had it. So wow, that is incredible, and I've got to see this in slow motion, or maybe they'll post a picture. Man, that was something. That was something.
I mean, yeah, I'm kind of like Vinny, like, because due to the scratch of my horse, I ended up in the next race, I ended up, singling Colonel Liam and playing Chess Chief and Owendale there. So it's fine. I mean, that's a great result, but I still don't understand how Owendale didn't win. Yeah, maybe we'll see a photo, but yeah. All right. Chess Chief upsets Owendale in the New Orleans Classic. We'll report back if we ever see a photo. I mean, maybe we'll never show one, right?
The Dallas Stewart's in the winner's circle looking shocked right now. So it's crazy. What a way to kick off the live show.
It's amazing that not only did that he won the photos, so to speak, but how it was like that. Like Vinny says, like on his feed, on the Nair feed, they're flashing it. 2 seconds later, it's unofficial here, and then 2 seconds later, it's official. It's almost like there was no question, and all 3 of us thought Owendale won the race. So, yeah, that was interesting. Maybe someone will tweet out the photo.
Sometimes
some people are saying there's no way Chess Chief won that. I'd like to see the actual picture.
Sometimes when you have 3 horses and they're that separated, it does get a little construed. Your view of the wire. That's my only explanation at this point. Honest to God, I thought the 5 may have got second even. So I'm really shocked here.
No one knows. But hey, even Luis Saez is like, I don't know how the hell he won that one. Especially when you look at the trip he got a little bit, because my thought is if I'm playing, and that's what I guess we can talk a little bit about that. when you're playing Chess Chief, you kind of think maybe he's gonna he's at an advantage because of the pace, and he might be poorly placed. Well, he gets shuffled back, and he makes this big long run down the stretch. So it's kind of the opposite of what you were maybe using him for. But man, Luis Saez rode the hell out of him down the stretch to catch him. So
that was wild. That was very wild. Yeah, I was shocked. I said at the top of the stretch, I can't believe he's so far back. Turns out that a paceless race, the horse Closes, who should have been on the lead according to the paper, and what happens on the track and what it looks like on paper sometimes doesn't go hand in hand. But shocked would be my answer. Now, if Chess Chief is sitting in front, turning for home and wins, everybody's like, okay, I see it. But, to be that far out of it and to come on and win that race, good for you, Vinny. I mean, that had to be a gift that kept on giving. I still thought you got beat, and then you still win. So that's
that old dude next to Dallas looked shocked too. So
I'm waiting for the picture.
Yeah. Well, we'll report back if we get any photo. Colonel Liam, by the way, 1-5. So there goes your 3-2-1. 1-5 favorite with 18 minutes. Of course, this is when the stars really get coming out here. We got this race with Colonel Liam, of course, winning the Pegasus World Cup Turf, the Fairgrounds Oaks, which is going to be amazing, and of course the Louisiana Derby. So these next three races are going to be. Oh, here we go. The White Claws have made it. They've made an appearance on the show. Congratulations on. You know what? You deserve that after that finish there.
I know, my first ever race call, and I have no idea who wins, and the pace isn't at all how I drew it up. It was tough, but listen, thankfully I have a great wife. I was going to get peas, and I was running late. She went and got them for me. Shout out to Heather. Now we can have some fun.
Jared Bush, are you listening to the show? We're not listening. We're not getting your picks, okay? Just to be clear, we have our picks already. We make our picks. We make our bets. We've already made our bets. Yes, we had the 6. Thank you. All right, let's move along.
If you guys haven't heard, Jared Bush did call this horse the winner. So just to make sure everybody knows.
And he's let us know 16 times. All right, they're showing the replay, so maybe we can get a slow motion finish here. But maybe they're like, "Fuck it, who cares?" Yeah, but he's in last place there for a second. I thought for a half a second Roadster might win the race. I thought, son of a bitch, really?
I did too. I kept calling him. He's got a shot. He's got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Owendale said, there's really no excuse for him to lose that race, in my opinion, other than him just being kind of garbage.
No.
Because he kind of set the trip you would want, considering the pace was so pedestrian. I guess they went a little quicker there, but
I mean, I'm rewatching it now, and
yeah, I mean, like you said, Enforceable looks dead.
Oh yeah,
like he looked dead, and like I'm curious if they just stop moving up front or what, because I mean that was. Roadster and Owendale look like they're going to go 1-2 the whole way, and then everybody made up ground on them late. Even Sonneman almost caught Roadster for 4th.
Yeah,
those two on the front end must have just stopped.
They have.
Yeah,
I still don't see how he got it. I still don't. Okay,
no, I'm waiting for the photo. That's why I have the stream up. I want to see what they posted.
And then tweeting it out, I have not seen one person say that they thought Chess Chief won. I mean, someone said, "Hey, I turned the channel as soon as the race was over. I thought the 2 won." It's like, yeah, we all did. But no, hey,
I'm still stunned. I'm still stunned. That's a tough one for the old race caller, to break his maiden on, to try to call that one. That's unbelievable.
I thought you did a good job. I mean, that's a tough one to call for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. We got 15 minutes to post. 1-5 on Colonel Liam. I mean, I think at this juncture, like I said, like on the show, Cross Border was my pick. He scratched out of the race. It'd be hard pressed to see Colonel Liam lose this race, I think.
I mean, now at 1-5, though, it's hard to bet him. But yeah, I don't know who you go with. I kind of like Pixelate at 20-1. here. So maybe that horse can pull off a little bit of an upset. Olympic Runner was a really nice winner last time out, 13-1. But I guess, Vinny, when you have a 1-5, you are going to get a price if you want to go against. Do you have anybody you're looking at?
I have Colonel Liam singled as well. The only other horse I considered using was Logical Myth, who just really seems to like this track. 5 for 7 at Fairgrounds, just missed last time out.
Yep.
He was the only other horse I would use if I had to use another horse with Colonel Liam, but Irad came out the Fairgrounds to ride this horse today. He doesn't have a mount in the Louisiana Derby, so I find it hard to believe he's going to lose.
Yeah, me too. Now Joe Sharp trains the 6 Logical Myth, and Joe Sharp was an upset winner. What was it? The 10th race, right? Didn't he have the 13 in the 10th race? So
with Irad on him.
Yes, with Irad.
He doesn't get Irad. He doesn't get Irad here.
Okay, that's fair. Maybe he lost his secret weapon here, but you're looking for something. The second choice.
There's
in
the
this race
photo,
right now
by
is
the way.
What's that?
The photo is out, and it's not even close.
No, it's not. Wow.
So
Really?
obviously the angle there is jacked up, because that is that's probably that much, probably 6-7 inches easily. So
yeah. So that isn't. I mean,
okay.
Like you would have thought it would have been a fraction of an inch. It's not. I mean, it's close, but for photo standards, it's not.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Good. Well, there you go. There's the photo. All right.
Wow.
That one's still blowing my mind a little bit. All right. So, how would you play? Because obviously you got a sort of price there. And that's what I talked about on Blinkers Off a little bit, how you try to make money in the sequence, because given, we all three at this point like Colonel Liam, and of course seems like you're going to have 2 horses to pick in the Fairgrounds Oaks, unless you're trying to beat them. And then you guys, I guess, how are you trying to make money in the sequence?
Well, it's tough. I don't think you can beat Colonel Liam. I really don't. I think you got to try to beat the 2 heavy hitters in the Oaks, and they could absolutely win on you. But I do think there's at least a couple of nice options in there in the Fairgrounds Oaks. I think there's a couple of nice horses. I think Little Tootsie is a horse that gets Luis Saez, has won 2 in a row there at Fairgrounds. I think that's one you can try to play against. I know Dr. Miranda, who will be on later to talk about the Oaks, really likes the 5-horse Obligatory in that race as well. So for me, as far as a pick 3 goes, I think I'm singling here, and I'm going to spread in the Fairgrounds Oaks and hope to get a price. And then, get the logical horses home. I think the 3 Louisiana horses and Hot Rod Charlie are the logical ones in the Louisiana Derby that we'll talk about a little later. But I think the key to making money in the late sequence of a pick 3 here, I just don't think you can beat Colonel Liam. So I'm going to take my shot in the Oaks against those horses.
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about the Oaks after this race, but yeah, there's a few in there that are interesting. If you're looking to make money on the upset, because you get like you say, you get to the Louisiana Derby, and it's tough. I mean, there's a handful of horses I feel like that could win the race, but they all feel like they're going to be, sub 6-1 or so. Vinny, you guys, don't you guys have Proxy, right?
Yes, we do.
What are you feeling about Proxy today?
I feel pretty good about him, actually. I feel like we're going to know pretty early how he takes to having blinkers on. He's been more forwardly placed before, so if he drops back, it's probably not good, even though you never know. But I'm hoping I honestly think it's a two horse race between Proxy and Mandaloon. I don't think anybody else has a shot at winning. So those are the only 2 I'm using in that race.
I mean, so what about? Well, let's wait till the Louisiana Derby.
Yeah,
I do want to ask you about a couple, but I'm with you. I think those are the top 2. I think it's a situation if Proxy, that extra distance and the added blinkers kind of gets him to be more focused and out finishes Mandaloon. I think it's going to be a hell of a race, and obviously a very much an important race as comes to the Kentucky Derby. So all of a sudden, there's a lot of horses that have a chance to win the Kentucky Derby. I wanted to address something just real quick. Why do you guys talk shit to the people watching your live stream? At least be happy for the guy. Maiden Focus. Jared Bush watches Ricky's Rockets every single day. I know that he didn't take what we said offensive and get offended by it. I am very happy for him. I feel like I know Jared Bush, so it's okay. It's okay. We're not making anybody mad in here. We are happy for him.
No. Hey, first of all, we got the same name, so that's cool. And second of all, like let's lighten up. You know what I mean? Like it's like we're having fun here. We're all gonna give each other shit. If I talk to Halterman, if I'm bragging about a pick, he'll be like, dude, okay, that's enough. All right, I get it. You know, it's like that's just what we do. Yeah. So we're looking at. I think now you know, Vinny. I think Proxy is like we talked about this on Blinkers Off. I feel like at this point you have. I'm gonna wait and see with him because it just feels like it's like if he's gonna win a race, it should. I mean, don't you think he should have won last time?
I mean, he probably should have, but it was also, I feel like, a must win for Mandaloun, and it's not like he ran bad. I mean, he gets Johnny, second time with Johnny. He's improved in each start of his 3-year-old year. So, like, I feel like this, like, if he doesn't run well here, I don't want any part of him going forward. But I mean, if it's a race where, you know, if he finishes a length behind Mandaloun again today, and Mandaloun's a heavy favorite, and I've liked Mandaloun since he was actually the top horse on my draft board for the league this year. That would be like, I would be okay with that if he runs second. I would love to see him win, but he seems like a horse. I think I was tweeting it out, or I was talking to somebody earlier this week. I think he's a horse later on this summer who, if he stays healthy, is going to be very dangerous because he's still trying to put all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that you kind of forget about with Mandaloun. He's such a lightly ran horse. You know, he really is, and kind of figuring things out. Yeah, that was a killer for me too. I had Mandaloun as my that's the horse I had. Well, at least who was left, and I think the Killer Bees took him right before I did.
I tried to take him at 3, and Nick was not about it. Nick was not about it. So we ended up. That's why we ended up on Keep Me in Mind, because we felt like he was the safe pick. Whereas Mandaloun, it was either going to be he was either going to be very good or not so good. So,
well, I suppose Nick slightly redeemed himself.
Oh yeah, he did. He has. Yeah, I mean, he's convinced Soup and Sandwich is going to win the Florida Derby. So if he wins the Florida Derby, I'll be excited.
If that dude wins the Florida Derby after what he did with what was it, Helium? I mean, good Lord. I mean, you get that guy a crystal ball or something, because
he's officially the king of Florida if he does that.
I am not a fan. I am not a fan of Mark Casse 3-year-olds, and like the fact, like Nick begged me to let him pick up Soup and Sandwich, and I was like, okay. And then with Helium, I just had no choice, and I was like, all right, like we'll do it. And then he won, and I'm like, I'm just not gonna second guess you on any other pickups the rest of the year. Like, here we go. So,
I mean, I think we'll get I think we'll have time after when we get into the Louisiana Derby to talk, just because about the Derby, just because it does feel like all of a sudden we're trying to figure things out again, and obviously this race is vitally important. There's a handful of horses. You know, it's the Louisiana Derby. I heard I think it was Ed DeRosa, Halterman's favorite analyst, that was talking. He was talking about. He's talking to Brad Cox in the barn with Mandaloun, and he kind of asked him about, the stigma. Not really a stigma, I guess it's more of a reality that fairgrounds where it's very strong to producing Oaks horses, it's just not one for the Derby.
Yep.
And it's just kind of like, what do you make of that? And it feels like this year, that especially now with the news of Life is Good, that we have a handful of horses that could make some noise in the Kentucky Derby from this circuit, because it just feels like Proxy, Mandaloun, of course, we'll see what happens with Hot Rod and the Midnight Bourbon. But it seems like we had a handful of horses that are in this circuit now that have a shot of making some noise in the Kentucky Derby, especially now with Life is Good out.
Put the opinions aside for a second, and opinions make the game, and I love them. But just put the opinions aside and look at the analytics of it now with Life is Good out. All these horses are running very similar numbers. No matter what scale you look at, they're very similar. These horses in Louisiana all of a sudden have very similar numbers to Concert Tour, to Essential Quality. Greatest Honor is a little bit slower now, but not much. He's right there. So all of a sudden, these horses today come into play times 10 because of Life is Good being gone. And think about it like this too. You're going a mile and 3/16 today. So if you can get a horse to post a high 90s buyer, not only is it the highest buyer on the Derby trail now with the horses that are healthy, it's at the longest distance. So this race, this always seemed to me, guys, as this is a lot of fun today. This is going to be fun. It's a fun race. It's competitive. It's good to bet. You kind of like these horses a little bit. They've kind of made you fans because it's a rivalry. We like that. That's great, and that's still here. But it's really, really important for the Kentucky Derby now because of Life is Good being out. Because all of a sudden, we're all got the same numbers, and if we see some improvement, say Proxy improves with the stretch out and the blinkers, he all of a sudden might be one of the favorites. If Mandaloon wins, he might actually even be the favorite if it's really impressive. So, yeah, this is a huge opportunity for this circuit to get a primetime contender right there in the Kentucky Derby today.
Yeah, and you got to imagine a scenario that you have. You obviously, Brad Cox is, he's got several, but with Caddo kind of faltering in the Rebel, waiting for Essential Quality in the Bluegrass, and of course here, if Essential Quality doesn't win and gets beat in the Bluegrass, and Mandaloon wins today, it's kind of like all of a sudden he kind of takes the place of Essential Quality. He's the top horse that you want. Is that maybe isn't Concert Tour or something. So you're right. Lots on line. We are 2 minutes to post, 1-2 on Colonel Liam. Real quickly, it seems like Colonel Liam is just now kind of emerging as the horse that they thought he would be, $1.2 million horse. Vinny, I think you might see this horse this summer out your way, don't you think?
Yeah, I do. I thought this is like in my opinion, this is a spot where like he must just be going good in the mornings for them to ship him the fairgrounds. Yeah. I didn't think there was when they said that they were shipping him here for this, I was like, I don't think that will actually happen. But I mean, he must just be going good right now, and Pletcher just wants to keep him rolling.
I thought the same thing. I thought, boy, that's a weird spot. There's no reason to run him here. And yeah, here he is. When you look at these Pegasus World Cup Turf winners, and I know it's not a long list, they go on to have pretty good years. Even last year, an upset winner went on to win a few races. And, of course, Bricks and Mortar, who went on to be the horse of the year. So now we're here with this horse who guys, doesn't it almost feel like this is a Chad Brown horse, like developed into the 4-year-old year, a monster on the turf? It feels like Chad Brown should be the trainer here. But, it's not. It's Todd Pletcher, obviously, who can train a horse just as well. But this just kind of feels like this up-and-comer. If you remember, Bricks and Mortar came here as well and barely won this race. Very, very tight. So we'll see what happens with Colonel Liam. But that was an eye-opening performance last time out. And Ricky banged the drum of Colonel Liam before the Pegasus World Cup turf because he just thought horses that horse had been up against as a 3-year-old were really, really good. Some of those we haven't seen yet. So Colonel Liam, he might have some company a little bit later on in the year, but right now he looks like a pretty tough horse to beat in the spot.
Yeah, he, for people that don't have the PPs up, 6 starts Colonel Liam has, debuted on the dirt at Gulfstream Park, finished second, got DQ'd, or the horse that won got DQ'd, so the horse actually won. Came back in an allowance race at Gulfstream Park in the slop, didn't run very well, switched him over to turf, and since then the horse just woke up. He won an allowance race at Saratoga, ran in the Saratoga Derby, finished 4th, barely, really rough start, a rough race for this horse, and had a lot of excuses that day. Domestic spending, won that race. Gouffo won that race, or got second, and then of course wins back to back, including the Pegasus World Cup. So it's like this horse just seems like obviously turf is his thing, and if you throw out maybe a poor trip in the Saratoga Derby, this horse hasn't lost on the turf. I love the fact that he's won without Lasix and with Lasix. He's back with Lasix today, but to me that's a horse that doesn't matter. So yeah, he seems like a horse that, you're right, he does seem like a Chad Brown. We'll see how long Todd Pletcher can keep him, right? How he can keep him and get him, of course, to the Breeders' Cup. That's got to be the goal with him. Yep,
for sure. We got a lot of people that are maybe playing Colonel Liam, but kind of maybe try and throw some other ones in. I see a lot of 8s, 3s. Jared's going to play the 5, 6, 8. Anybody like Spooky Channel? Just real quick here. I like this horse, but I don't like it at 1 1/8 miles.
That was my exact thought, is that I think this is a little too short for him, but he would not surprise me if things fall apart. I mean, he's going to be moving late.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Let's take it down to track announcer Aaron Halterman for the Muniz Memorial Classic. They are loading into the gate. Take it away, Aaron.
Well, I think hopefully we don't see another close finish, as I'm 0 for 1 in calling finishes. I should have just done the too close to call, like they like to yell when it's not even close sometimes.
Rookie mistake. That's okay.
Yeah, I really didn't think that race was close last time, guys. I thought I wanted to have it. So hopefully we see something a little bit better. This is another one. I think we've got the heavy favorite, Colonel Liam, getting ready to load here. 3-5 on Colonel Liam. This is another one. I didn't memorize the names very well, but I've got the list up, so should be okay. I felt like my technicalities were good on the call, just not the finish. So hopefully we try to fix that. All right, 2 left to load. 6 is in. 6 is Logical Myth. The 12, Pixelate, coming out of the Pegasus World Cup. He is in Pegasus World Cup Turf, I should say. They're all in line. And they're off to a pretty good start. Yep, pretty good start. Everybody comes out cleanly. And they break kind of in a cluster, and it looks like we're going to get number 10, Peace Achieved, is going to go out to the front. So Peace Achieved sets the pace. Pixelate trying to get over from that outside post. He's going to sit about third because the 7 now, Headstrong, the 7, 2 Emmys, Headstrong and to the front. And jockey James Graham said, let's go. So the 7 takes the lead. The 10 is in second. That's Peace Achieved. We've got the 12, Pixelate, in third. Let's check on our favorite, Colonel Liam. He's sitting a pretty good trip in fourth. Stocking trip on the inside. In fourth is Colonel Liam. Spooky Channel right to his outside in fifth. Opening quarter 23.79. It looks like the 7, 2 Emmys, a little bit headstrong up the backstretch here, guys. Wants to go early and going to set a pretty good pace for anybody that wants to close into this situation. All right, Peace Achieved sitting in second. We've got Colonel Liam now moved up to third. He's kind of acting like he wants to go early. It looks like Irad Ortiz has got a handful of horse. Colonel Liam tugging and wanting to go. He's on the inside in third of Pixelate, who is in fourth. Here we go. 2 Emmys moves to the front. 2 Emmys still the lead. There's the hit the turn.
Irad's
not the lead, but here comes the monster. Colonel Liam has ranged up into second. Pixelate moving with him. Colonel Liam within a length of the lead. He's at the top of the stretch, and Colonel Liam looks like he's going to take over the lead. 2 Emmys is proving to be tough on the front end. 2 Emmys, but Colonel Liam's got a measure, and he's going to run away from this field. Colonel Liam is going to, 2 Emmys giving credit. He tried hard, but Colonel Liam under a hand ride is going to win this thing by about a length and a half. 2 Emmys second. Close for third. I think it was Vinny's horse, Logical Myth, for third.
Yeah.
You got to give credit to that 7, because other than that, I mean, you take out the 7 and then the 5 wins by, a pole basically. But the 7 reign, he made Irad work for it for sure.
That second, we went 23 early and then slowed it down to a 49. And I don't think anybody, it seemed like all the other jockeys didn't realize he slowed it down to the 49. I mean, he put all the others to sleep.
I'm sorry. I have to do this. I told you.
I told you guys this.
Nick, you're on fire, my friend.
Feldy, man, that made me laugh inside hysterically hard. All right, so I was wanting to call like a huge Colonel Liam call there, right? And I just got a little scared to do it because two Emmys just kept fighting. I'm like, what the hell? But good win.
That race is still looming on you, man. You're a little nervous. You weren't ready to make the call so quickly this time. So
you're right. I got a little spooked by that last race because I said, he's going to kick away from this field, and it's like, oh shit, that two Emmys horse is still going hard. So, good race though, really good race, professional. Hard to think that took a lot out of him as far as the race. Maybe the shipping does or something like that, but got to think he can bounce into the next one and still look pretty darn good. That was impressive.
Yep.
Yeah, that bigger and better things on for that horse. So I'm with you guys. It seemed weird that he was even here. The fact that he was, I'm kind of glad my horse scratched because I don't think he would have beat that horse today. So that that's how it works. Was able to single Colonel Liam then after the scratch. So yeah, I think that horse. Gosh, seems like if Pletcher can keep him right, that horse has a very, very big future. Yeah, already a bigger future than you
thought. I think Nick, I think you're right. I think he goes to the Bourbon there at Churchill Downs next on Derby Day and will probably be a short price once again. I do want to pose one question just for the sake of argument. Two Emmys on the lead, really not a horse any of us really talked about. I mean, if you did on the chat and I missed it, I'm sorry, but I didn't even see the 7 listed anywhere. What if Factor This gets that trip? Could he have beaten Colonel Liam today? Vinny, go ahead. You start.
No, not how Factor This has looked in his last few starts. I was talking to people about the morning line in that race because I couldn't believe Factor This was 4-1 and Colonel Liam was only 3-1. I'm like, if it was the Factor This before like August of last year, 100%. But the Factor This that has shown up in his last 3 races has just thrown in the anchor very early. I don't think he would. I don't think that would have made a difference.
Jared?
Yeah, I'm with you. And you said it on Blinkers Off. He's just not the same horse as he used to be. And I agree that maybe the old horse could have, but I just think Colonel Liam's kind of in a race of kind of in a league of his own at this point. So
yeah. I think it would have been interesting because I do think the horse you picked before the scratch, Jared, Cross Border, I don't think he would have won, but he was definitely, to me, the second best horse in the race. So it would have been nice to kind of see. But maybe on a Derby day, this horse, Cross Border, will face off in the Forster with Colonel Liam. We'll see. But anyway, I decided it's an interesting question. I saw some people kind of like the one, so I just kind of wanted to see your thoughts on that, guys. Anyway, on to the 13th race, right?
That's right. We are, let's see, 22 minutes to post, and you've got Claire at 3-1 and 9-5 on Travel Column. So everyone's kind of looking, at least early money, saying that Travel Column can turn it back around on her and beat her after Claire kind of upset her last time out. Let's talk a little bit about this race because obviously the price is not great on either one of those horses. So who do you try? I know Miranda might get on here later, but I know she's trying to beat with a few horses. I guess Lil Tootsie. I don't know. I mean, is that Halterman? Isn't that the horse that you said you mentioned you like? I mentioned on Blinkers Off that you liked.
Yeah. Now I am all in on Travel Column as far as a win wager right here. As long as these odds kind of hang at 9-5, even 8-5, I'm pretty damn high on that horse. But as far as trying to beat him for the multis, yes, Little Tootsie, the 4 horse, would be one I'm very interested in. I think the horse is going to run well, 2 wins in a row. And also, Luis Saez was the winner on the 1 last time out at Gulfstream Park and now jumps on to the 4. I thought that was a really good sign. But overall, I do think Travel Column is going to show her class today. But yeah, I do like the 4 a little bit here.
About you, Vinny? Are you trying to beat these two? As far as if you're just playing this race, just by itself, is there a horse that has piqued your interest a little bit that's not named Travel Column or Clairiere?
I kind of like the 5 outside of those two obligatory.
Yep.
I'm a sucker for Juddmonte homebreds. And this one looked really good. 3-year-old debut, so should be able to improve on that hopefully. But I mean, if I get 3-1 on Clariere, I'm gonna play that. I think I like her a lot more than I like Travel Column. So that would be my win bet if the odds stay like this. I was actually expecting her to get bet down a little bit from these odds, but I mean, if she stays around 3-1 or 2-1, I'm going to play her.
It seems like we see this a lot in horse racing where a horse has beaten the other one. And so the morning line odds maker makes her the favorite. But then that other horse was the favorite and such a heavy favorite in that last race that lost that she still kind of carries over and is the favorite here because people are like, how did she lose? So it's weird how horse racing works like that. But so Clariere 3-1, I mean, you got to be your mouth's watering, right?
Yeah, I mean, breeding wise, her pedigree is unreal. And the fact she came off the bench and did what she did in the Rachel Alexandra, like that was great. And today she should improve second time out. I wouldn't be surprised if Travel Column turned the tables on her. I mean, these two, I think most people have very high on their Oaks boards. So, but I'm sticking with the Stone Street horse.
Real quickly, I've seen some chatter on Twitter. It seems like maybe people weren't super impressed with that performance from Colonel Liam.
Well, the thing is, I feel like this is because we're so used to dirt racing in the U.S. where you get a horse like Concert Tour who draws off and wins by 6 or 7 lengths.
Mm-hmm.
In turf racing, like that doesn't happen. I mean, even Bricks and Mortar was winning races by like a length or less. Like he was never burying fields. That's just how turf racing is. So like, I mean, yeah, he didn't win by 5 and he was 3-5, but hey, that's just how turf racing goes. I feel very rarely do you see that in a turf stakes race where a turf horse just absolutely like puts the field into the ground. And I think that's actually what made when I talk about turf racing with people, what made when Enable came over for the Breeders' Cup so ridiculous was that her and Magic Wand or Magical, they were 10 lengths in front of whoever finished third there. I mean, that was like, you don't see that in US turf racing, and like you really don't see that in turf racing in general. Usually the finishes are much closer. So I mean, I get where people are coming from, like a 3-5 and only like beat a long shot by a length. But at the same time, it's like you don't see monster beats like that in turf racing.
Slim says Sadler's Joy was third in that race you referenced there. So
he could have been Slim. I wouldn't. He wasn't in the picture.
Jared, are the Twitterites saying why they aren't impressed, or just they aren't impressed?
Just things like, I'm not gonna lie, horse won but wasn't impressed by it. Would have been third if the 1 and 4 won't scratch. That's what someone said. I wasn't super impressed, but he checked the box. That's another comment. So I think that, and that's from our one of them was from our friend the Staggy Man. So I'm shocked to think that I would. If the one, I like the 4, and I don't think I certainly didn't think the 1 could have beat the horse, and the 4 I don't think was going to beat him either.
Yeah, I'll talk to him later and see what his thoughts are. I can't like he does try to beat Chalk. So I mean he probably, I'm assuming he didn't have the 5, but
yeah, you got to be careful in this game, and I've found this out. Just playing tournaments, we've gotten into playing tournaments, and you obviously are trying to beat Chalk a lot, and you got to be careful, like not to let after the race is over to kind of not see what it was, because just because you're 15-1 or whatever didn't win, you kind of sometimes, and I've done it myself, where you kind of you're like, you don't even look at really what Colonel Liam just did, but you really have to look at it and say, wow, that was impressive. So just because, like you say, maybe he did and just it didn't go his way. But I think you watch that race back kind of unbiased. That horse seemed like kind of won how he wanted to win.
I kind of look at it like this. He shipped across, halfway across the country, and the race, as I watch the replay back now, never at one point was in doubt. Like never at one point did I think he was going to lose. So, what more can you really say? He just won a grade 2 race with a large field, and it was never in doubt. So I don't know what more he could have really done. And I think it sets him up really well for the next one, because like I said, kind of after the show or after the race, didn't really feel like he ran that hard either. So it's not like this was a wow, what an effort, and he's going to need time after this one. I thought he did what he's supposed to do, but to each their own. That's what makes it good.
And I think a good thing to remember, not just for him, but for a lot of these. Magic had made mention of this, I think, on the live stream a couple weeks ago, where it's like these turf horses are just now getting going. Yep. The ones that we're kind of missing, the ones that, obviously United runs later today at Santa Anita. There's a lot of turf horses that are just now starting back. And so, this is definitely not, like you said, he did what he's supposed to do and you move on. There's a lot bigger things than the race that he just ran at Fairgrounds.
Well, if you want to beat him next time out, you're going to have better options. I think that's the key to it, right? If you want to take a stab against him next time, you're going to have some horses that you feel confident backing. We're here, and Jared, you were smart enough when Cross Border scratched out of it. You're like, well, fuck this. I'm not gonna play this stupid 7 horse and just pray, So it's just one of those things. But I
think that's a good point too, like about just in general adapting to. It wasn't a matter of me not liking Colonel Liam. It was me trying. My angle was singling Owendell and trying to get the price, because a lot of people would have Colonel Liam singled in their pick 4s or whatever. And if you can get him beat, then obviously you open up to your prices. And then once my 4 scratched, who I was going to key to try to beat him, everything shifted. So then all of a sudden, Chess Chief got into my pick 4. And I single, so you got to adapt to some of those and not just be like, well, I'm still holding tight on Owendell, and I'm going to try to, like you say, you're going to try to use a 7 or whatever. And that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So the best horse on the pick 4 was Colonel Liam, and you got it. So let's, for my sake though, I think you got to have to try to get some prices in the next 2 races, even though I really like Travel Calm here.
Yep. This is where it gets interesting. We've got a big time chance to see the Oaks and maybe now the Derby winner. So this is where it really gets to be a lot of fun. Did we ever see the actual photo?
We did. And
we did see it. Yes.
I'm gonna see if I can pull it up and if I can show it, because on the stream. Oh yeah, here we go. So it's almost amazing that it's really not that close. Here we go. Let's I'll try to
stand by. Do you have it? I didn't save it.
I got it.
Okay.
I just gotta share my screen. I had to pull it up. There we go.
There it is. Yeah. Yeah. And as you can see there, Vicky, I was with you. I thought, well, this will be razor tight. It's for photo standards. It's not. It's clear.
You were totally expecting like you have to zoom in to see the nostril of the horse is touching where But you look at, even if you look at that, I'd like to go back now and watch the replay and find out where that angle came from, because I don't think I ever saw the 6 ahead of the 2 until. Or if at all, so it's crazy, but that's it. So it does exist. So,
hey, here we go. Thank you. I just watched this race kind of in silence. So thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah. Oaklawn, it gives and it takes, but it's been giving a lot. So yeah.
It gives and it takes.
It does. That's the best way to describe it. It really, seriously, it is. You can look like a fool at Oaklawn some days, and you can look like a genius some days as well. And my email fluctuates between when I'm at school and when I'm a genius. So some days I know nothing and I am an idiot. And some days it's like, wow, great job. So anyway, thanks for the shout out.
Well, do you know if I think it's on NBC now? I think it's kicked off at 5 our time, 6 for you, Vinny. But I think NBC's got coverage of NBC Sports, I should say, of the Louisiana Derby. So I'm hoping that the Oaks will also be on there.
Mm-hmm. I did not know that. I honestly don't. I pretty much watch like the Naira stream like exclusively. I don't. I watch the Naira stream with no volume. I watch it. That's how I watch racing.
I'm sure Andy Sterling paid you to do that, didn't he?
I like Andy. Actually, I like listening. I listen to Andy in the mornings when I'm playing Naira tracks, and then but like I use Naira bets, and like they have the stream for almost every track, and it's easier than loading up an app for cable or something. We don't even actually have cable, so it would just be a pain to find an NBC stream. So.
I'll be honest with you. Andy's he's grown on me over the years. Because I've actually kind of learned to respect what he's doing as far as kind of the angle he's using to kind of get people talking. And I think he's a little, when he finally came back and started and unblocked us, that's when I became a bigger fan. So
he looks for, like, people get on him a lot that he's that he doesn't always pick, like he doesn't pick winners, and like he looks for value. And like if you actually listen to what he says, like in that last race, like if he didn't pick Colonel Liam, I'm sure it was like he wouldn't like bash Colonel Liam. He would be like, yeah, like he's the horse to beat, but at 3 to 5, I'm looking elsewhere.
Can I tell you the sorry, Vinny, I thought you were done. I'm going to tell you the behind the scenes story of why Andy Sterling blocked us and what started this whole thing. Do you guys want to hear it?
Let's hear it.
Okay, American Pharoah. He never picked American. He was like you, Vinny. He never picked American Pharoah at all, right? He picked him on Traverse Day. You were smart enough to pick Keen Ice, so good job for you. But Andy picked him on Traverse Day, okay? And I tweeted out after the race, I said, oh, man, Sterling was the kiss of death. He never picked him, and then today on the show, he picked him. Now, first of all, he blocked us for this, right? I had correspondence with Andy for years before this, literally years. Always friendly with him. It also means I'm watching your show, Andy. So I'm a viewer, right? I get if you come back with a dick comment to me, because it was kind of a dick comment I made, but it was a joke. I was really just kidding. He blocked us, and he blocked us for like 4 years for that. I was blocked by we were blocked by Stabile for like 3 years because of Mind Your Biscuits, in a race that we also had Mind Your Biscuits. Because he still ranked Mind Your Biscuits #1 in like the whatever poll that is. After he lost the Whitney, and we had him on top in the Whitney, and he ran like second or something, and was it Diversified, like just ran away with the race. And we're like, how can you still have him first? And then he blocked us on that, and it was just like, dude, like, come on. And like he literally had us blocked for like when was that race, like 2017? Yeah.
Like he had us blocked until like January of this year.
And not only do they block you, like they think you're dirt. Like Andy Sterling thought we were the worst. He told a friend of mine on Twitter once, these are the worst people in racing. The guy screenshotted it and sent it to me. I'm like, I didn't do anything to him. It's like, guys, we're trying to correspond with you guys. I mean, it's crazy. So anyway, yeah, like Dave Barista said, it's busting balls. That's exactly right. I get it all. If I blocked all the people that said something like that to me, we wouldn't have any followers. I
say that all the time. I think we have like 2 people blocked. And that's it. Like I don't block anybody. Like if we make a bad pick and you make the right pick, go ahead. Like it's racing. Like that's why it's gambling.
Yeah, and not only do we not block people, we don't hold grudges. Like we don't hold grudges against people that hate us. It is what it is. If you hate us, you hate us. I can't do anything about it. I don't think you'd hate me if you met me, but you can hate me. I don't care. So anyway, that's my spiel. But listen, guys, we've got 5 minutes to this race that could determine the favorite for the Kentucky Oaks. So we should probably get back to that, I guess.
Yeah. So breaking news here: Miranda is not going to be on. So here's her. She's at. I texted her and I asked her if she's coming on. She said she's at the bar watching March Madness. So respect, but so Travel Calm. She's fading those. She likes your horse there too a little bit, Vinny. She's going 4 in the 5. Long shot pick is the 3. So there you go.
Who is the 3? Now I have to look at the 3.
Super sensational. This is also the girl that picked what was that, Bodie, whatever that horse name was.
Yeah, something Bodie. Hey, Magic's here. Magic got a haircut too.
Hi.
Whoa. Who
Hi,
is this
Magic.
guy?
Hi, guys. Can you hear me okay? Is the mic all right? Okay.
Good.
Looking good, man. How are you doing, Magic? What's up?
I just finished helping the wife put together a whole bunch of stuff with the nursery, put together the stroller for the first time, so that's exciting. So I'm sitting back and enjoying a new Belgian wild ride, and ready to talk about some horses with you boys.
Well, you've missed a photo that none of us could believe with Owendale losing. We all thought Owendale won it live, and then the 6 was instantly put up, and you look back at the photo and it wasn't close. So either we've been drinking too much, which I don't think is the case, or we still don't understand where the actual wire is. Colonel Liam did his thing, so that wasn't really impressive, and obviously we're on to Oaks and Derby. So who do you like here in this Fairgrounds Oaks?
Well, I think Dr. Miranda did a great job of previewing it, so it's going to sound like I'm just copying her, but I like the new shooters. I like the idea of a new shooter here. She was more an obligatory. I'm big on Little Tootsie, and even if she doesn't win here, I think she's got a really good shot at the Kentucky Oaks because of the Fairgrounds experience, the 2-turn experience. She's improving well, but also Joel Polides, the owner, he also owns a horse named Little Stitious, who, if you guys are fans of The Office, so you got to love Little Stitious.
Love that horse.
Sent that horse up to Laurel Park last weekend to upset Street Loot, who was going for her 6th straight stakes win at Laurel. So a horse that just dominates the 3-year-old fillies at Laurel. Went up there and beat that horse, and she was one that was considered for the Fairground Oaks. They decided to put Little Tootsie in here, and I love that Luis Saez jumps off of the Zajal horse for here because Kieran McLaughlin, his agent, he knew all the Shadwell horses because he used to train them. So he knows how good Zajal is or isn't. So for him to tell his own jockey, yeah, don't ride that one, ride this one that you've never ridden before, it says a lot to me.
I think that's fair.
I left you guys speechless. I'm sorry. Was that too good of an analysis? I apologize.
See, this is why we need Ricky. He would have jumped in. He's the host.
Well, Ricky wouldn't want to offend anybody though, so he wouldn't really know how to handle it if I said that.
No, Ricky would be talking about Syracuse. So that's the Syracuse free show, and that's great.
They played the game of their life last night.
Yes, they really did.
Shit, right?
Could not believe it.
Yeah, that was fantastic. If you're a Syracuse backer, so all right, guys, 2 minutes.
Then they end up freaking dominating. So and the coach's son, what do you put up, 30?
Oh,
yeah,
he didn't miss it. And the local kid for me, Joe Girard III, had a pretty solid game too.
Yeah, they were good. Listen, if they play like that, they're gonna be a tough out. AKA, if you don't miss shots, you're hard to beat. So
yeah, exactly.
Imagine that,
buddy. Bay.
Let's see. We are 2 minutes. 2-1 on Travel Calm and Clairier's 3-1. Those prices, give me Travel Calm. I mean, you're basically 5-2 on Clairier now.
Yeah, this is like everybody. It seems like everybody had the same approach here with hey, these two are gonna get bet down. Let's try to beat them, and it's kind of to the point where like 5-2, like 5-2 over 2-1. I'm curious what the probables look like right now for an exacta, because it almost seems like these two just aren't getting bet in these pools because either people have them in their in the multis, or this is just people playing the race like straight up.
Okay, so an 8-6 exacta for $1 is paying
$7.
$6. Did you
$6.
say?
Yep.
Yeah.
The other way is $7.
Okay. So they are getting hammered, I guess, in the exactas. Yeah. Listen, if you're
Who was Vinny's pick here? I'm sorry. I know who you two guys have because I listened to Blinkers Off. But Vinny, who was your pick in this race?
I have the 6.
Okay.
6 is my top pick. I have both the 6 and the 8 covered in the pick 4.
All right, let's do this. So we're it's about post time here. Obviously, big time race, Fairgrounds Oaks. It's a basically a win and you're in for the Oaks, Kentucky Oaks, being that it's a 100-point race now, just like the Louisiana Derby. So, who is your pick? And I'll start with mine, and we'll just move over to Aaron, then Magic, and end it with Vinny. Who's your pick today, which we all kind of addressed, and who are you moving forward? Because I've kind of heard some debate here. It's like, well, I like her here. How do I like her moving forward into the Oaks? And I know Halter and I talked a little bit about this on Blinkers Off of kind of how tough the Oaks is looking. But I'll say Travel Calm is my pick today. And for the Oaks, I guess let's just do it this way because I'm not going to hold anyone to it. Do you think that pick is also your Oaks winner? I'm going to say no.
I will say, yeah, I picked Travel Column here. I mean, I'll be boring and just say yes, just to be different from you.
I'll say Travel Column is the pick for here, and I sold you a little Tootsie moving forward. Vinny?
I'll take Clairiere. I don't even know how to say it. I'll take her for both.
All right.
Yeah.
Not bad picks.
This is what makes – listen, like my co-host on Ricky's Rockets, he hates, like, rivalries, it seems like. It's like, I don't want to see these 3-year-olds match up until the big races. No, I love this. Like, this is what makes racing fun. This is the rubber match between Clairiere and Travel Column. Travel Column got her as a 2-year-old, as a 3-year-old. Clairiere turned the table. Now we see him again. I love this. I absolutely love this. So I think this makes racing fantastic. And the thing about it is, say you have Clairiere today and Travel Column wins, Vinny. If it's close, you can say, well, I'll still back her in the Oaks. You know?
Yeah. It's close. I mean, I'm expecting it to be close. I don't think. I mean, I would be very surprised if one of the if either of these two win and it's like by like they've improved that much more than the other has.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at when in the Goldenrod back in November, Travel Column beats Clairiere, wins by a length. I mean, it was a good race. Now you go to Rachel Alexander, gets beat by a neck. I mean, good race, back and forth. And so, like you say, I mean, and they're both distant, both the same distance. So it's just kind of you keep seeing. I love it, And listen, if Clairiere wins here, to me, she becomes very interesting for me as far as personally picking her in the Kentucky Oaks, because I feel like she's the kind of horse that just seems like is getting better and better. And if she, if it's one of those things where she, maybe a little young in the Goldenrod, then comes back, wins.
The one is acting up horribly in the gate.
Oh, hold on. Should I take over the call?
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Irad's just hugging onto the rail, trying to stay off of her.
Yeah, she's not happy.
All right.
No, she heard that Luis Saez wasn't riding her either. She said, nope, never mind.
Irad's trying to tell her he's won 2 today already. Actually, I think he's won 3.
I think someone showed
he's won 2 because he got DQ'd.
Someone showed her a picture of his haircut from the Eclipse Awards. I think that's what happened.
All right, I'm taking over. The track announcer is taking over. There's one to load.
Sit down.
John Dooley.
Aaron
The
Halsey.
8 Travel Column. They've loaded the 8 at the fairgrounds. It's the Fairgrounds Oaks. They're all in line. Their offense, the GL did break a step slow, but it's Travel Column. Travel Column going out to the front was super sensational. Super sensational. It's we get out ahead. Travel Column sits in a beautifully stalking second position as they make the far turn. So it is super sensational in front, Travel Column in second. We've got Zagel in third, and it's Little Tootsie, the Fairgrounds local horse, in fourth. Up the backstretch they go now, and it will be super sensational out to the front. 24.35 opening quarter for super sensational. Travel Column sitting chilly in second. The Daughter of Frosted sitting second, biding their time. And it looks like Florenter, who has a handful of horses now, Travel Column gets a little closer to Super Sensational. She's wanting to go early as Little Tootsie sits relaxed in third. And now Zagel up the rail makes a little bit of a move. They ran 48.64 for the opening half. It is Super Sensational in front. Nothing has changed. Travel Column second. Now Travel Column starting to make her move on the outside of Super Sensational. Travel Column. And Little Tootsie is under a drive as well. And she is making up a little bit of ground steadily. Travel Column is now moved.
Travel Column looks good.
To the lead, yes.
The six is coming.
She rounds the corner way ahead. Travel Column has taken the lead. Can she hold on this time? Little Tootsie looks like she's under a drive and not responding. But Clariere, here comes Clariere on the outside. Travel Column stuck to the lead now. Travel Column up by a length. Travel Column by 2. She may hold on this time. Travel Column pulling away. Clariere belatedly, but she's not going to get the Travel Column this time. Travel Column goes to Kentucky as the favorite for the Kentucky Oaks by 3. Clariere.
Hey, that's a great call right there, son.
There is no competition today. The Daughter of Frosted gets it done for Florenter and Brad Cox.
There you go. Travel. That was a really impressive win there. Really impressive. Flo rode the shit out of her this time, didn't he? He didn't fuck around.
That's her running style is definitely better for any race compared to the Clariere. I mean, she did not have the best. The 6 did not was in between horses early, then finally got clear, and then Super Sensational drifts out in the stretch. I don't think she would have gotten any closer, but I mean, the 6 had to change paths like 3 times in the stretch. Travel Column just sits the perfect trip and romps.
The thing with Travel or with Clariere, and I kind of mentioned this on Blinkers Off a little bit. It's just that last race. She got a great. I mean, she came with the rail, and she just had to. Where it feels like she kind of nipped Travel Column, whereas Travel Column. I felt like Travel Column more or less lost the race last time than Clariere won the race last time. Let's just put it that way. And so this time, Florent did not mess around. Because he kind of rode her last time like she was the best horse in the race, and it kind of caught her a little bit. Whereas this time, he rode her like the best horse in the race, but he also rode the shit out of her down the stretch to make sure no one was getting to her this time. So that was pretty damn impressive, and she is going to be the deserving favorite of the Kentucky Oaks.
I'm auditioning for Naira, or I would have said some cuss words down the stretch. But I thought as I was watching, it's like, he's not fucking around today. Florent Giroux riding very hard, very diligently. The big key, listen, I think Clariere ran well. I'm not going to take anything away from the horse. I thought another big key, if you watch that replay, boy, oh boy, Joe Talamo last time out, cut that corner, snuck up on that horse today. Kind of just that normal kind of wide trip that you see from a stalker/closer. That could have been a factor as well. But this horse is really, really good, Travel Column. And I think Clariere did fine. Close to the wire, it looks like Clariere having trouble switching leads, kind of was on the wrong lead to the right lead, kind of stumbled. Maybe just didn't fire the best effort forward. And it's kind of like what I was talking with you before the race, Vinny. Even if you like Clariere coming in and she just lost, she's not the worst play in the Oaks. She didn't run poorly here. No, she didn't. And her running style is just one of those where she's not always going to get there. She's one of those horses. She likes to make one big move, and sometimes that big move is going to be good enough. But I mean, Travel Column today sat a great trip, and just she was too much to catch in the stretch. So yeah, I mean, I'd still play her. I'd still play them back in the Oaks. I mean, I don't see why these two just don't continuously go 1-2 in all these spots. I haven't seen anything really outside of these two that has impressed me that much.
No, I haven't either. I mean,
I agree.
Not that's still in training anyway.
Right.
Well, correct. I knew who you're talking about. Moonlight Duero there, Magic. But I'll say this. That's the style I want to see to win a big race. And in Kentucky, it really makes a big – Churchill Downs, I should say. It really makes a big difference. But that's the style that wins a big race most times. Travel Column, stalk the pace, doesn't have to be on the lead, but wants to be up close, and then can finish. And that's the biggest key, right? You got to have early speed, and then you got to have finishing power. We questioned it after the last race. certainly didn't question it here. This was a powerful performance. And I'm with you guys. It's like you look at all the other races as far as being healthy, horses that are healthy on the Oaks, and it's kind of a mess. Where this one looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, who are you going to beat her with is my question.
I think Vinny's horse is who you could make the logical case for. What if you guys are? What if there's a ton of pace and they just get involved in it with Travel Column and Clairiere sits the trip, right? I mean, Vinny, I'll ask you, even though she lost, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's how I would play it. I mean, especially if Travel Column, like you said, he's probably going to be the favorite unless something drastic happens. So, I mean, I'm probably on Oaks Day. Clairiere is going to be 5-1, maybe 5-6-1, and yeah, like I'd play her on top and just box them in an exacta because I think you're going to get better. You're going to get better odds on Oaks Day probably depending on how the rest of the 3-year-old filly like prep season goes. Like you could this exacta literally could just be the same exacta, and we've seen that in races before where two horses from from one circuit end up making up the exacta in a huge race, and you get great odds on them because there's so many other horses.
No, yeah, I mean you're right. Can we go ahead and book the Travel Column Clairiere with the concert tour Oaks Derby double? Can I go ahead and book that right now?
Right.
I mean, that just seems. Come on with this 8. Come on with this 8.
Uh-oh. What's going on? Tournament horse, Santa Anita. Did the 8 win?
Shit.
I'm way behind. Oh, here we go. The 8's ahead, dude. Did you have the 8?
Yeah, but he's getting caught now. Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Lure him in. 3.
3-1.
Warden Jerry won the race.
Warden Jerry.
God bless.
My friend from Twitter met her at the Oklahoma Derby. Carrie Ward. She always bets Warden Jerry, so I bet she's happy right now.
3-1. Yeah, I played the 8, and that was 15-1. Sure. Peter Miller horse. Thought my go gate to wire. Tried. Did not happen, by the way.
Did not happen.
The tournament struggles continue, Vinny.
Are you qualified yet or no?
No.
Hopefully you get there.
I qualified for everything last week, at least for the main events last week, and just got absolutely thrashed in the features. So I did really well to get into them, and then I got thrashed. So
it's been a breakthrough. I mean, especially I don't know if your contest has fairgrounds today, but I mean, I feel like it's just today, there's been a lot of logical spots to try to beat favorites, and a lot of them have not. A lot of favorites have ended up prevailing today. So I feel like it's hard to make, it's been hard value wise and just playing with because the tournaments are just win plays.
Yeah, exactly. They're win plays. Yeah. And actually we're playing at Santa Anita. The one I'm playing at is Santa Anita. So it's even tougher.
Yeah. So I'm in a free contest, free win play show contest today for fairgrounds. And my score I know is not very good. I mean, chess chief definitely helped, but I mean, even Clairiere, I got $6 for Clairiere there. Okay. But even people who had Travel Column only got $11, I think. My math is somewhat okay. $12.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of there hasn't been a lot of value today at fairgrounds.
The tough part about Santa Anita especially is you'll get one race of the card that just blows up, and then the rest of it's fairly chalky, and so you kind of have to pick your spots and try to play, there's a race where I tried to play chalky and the chalk lost, and you try to play a long shot and then chalk, it's frustrating in Santa Anita especially. So, but yeah, we are 16 minutes to post to the Louisiana Derby, which is Kentucky Derby prep. Not 8-5 now on Mandaloon, 5-2 on Hot Rod Charlie. Proxy's also 5-2. That's your top 3 choices there. And Midnight Bourbon at 7-1. So that horse isn't getting the nearly the respect that he has been getting over there. But so right now it's a basically a pick-em between Mandaloon, Proxy, and Hot Rod Charlie right now. I needed a drink, so I'm gonna get off here for a second and let you guys carry on.
All right, yeah, I will. I'll take it over just real quick here. And first glance at the odds. Magic, I think you went to get a drink too. It's just Vinny and I are just the loyal people. We just sit here the whole damn time for you people. Magic and Jared, who knows, right? Vinny,
I'm sorry, we all don't have beer fridges below our desk, Aaron. We have to go to the fridge to get a beer.
See, look, here, look.
Seems like you just have a bad setup, Magic.
Mine's just sitting here, so
yeah.
Yeah, Magic's painting baby rooms. He doesn't know about alcohol anymore. Vinny,
I'm high on something else.
First look at the odds. I know you like Proxy, 5-2. Playable, or are you kind of looking elsewhere?
I still think he's playable. I don't think 5-2 is that bad. I'm curious if he stays at 5-2. I'm looking at the double and the double pick 3 and pick 4 will pays and stuff, and he seems like he might drift up a bit because it looks like Hot Rod Charlie's actually the second choice in all the multis. So I mean, he might drift back up to 7-2, which would be really nice.
Yeah. I'll kick it to you just again real quick. No offense, Magic, but Hot Rod Charlie. It seems like you either love this horse or you hate this horse. Where are you at with Hot Rod Charlie? Because 5-2 is a short price.
I think he's just very pace dependent. His 2 big runs have been in, the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at a quick pace. The Robert B. Lewis was pretty, that pace was solid, and he ended up hanging there with everybody else. The horses out of that race didn't really run that well, so that's kind of concerning. But the way this track is playing today, where speed is not holding, and horses have been moving from the back, he does fit if he's good enough. I just don't know. At 5-2, I don't know if I want to take the shot that he's good enough. Just because, you're telling me I can get Proxy, who is, Proxy's been running great here at the same price, or if not better than a horse who hasn't won in 8 months. I would take Proxy.
Magic, you're the California guy. I'm going to kick it to you on Hot Rod Charlie because it's weird. He's a California horse, but he really has been kind of everywhere. And now here he is again to the Midwest. What's your take on Hot Rod Charlie? And maybe what have you kind of heard behind the scenes?
Well, I had heard about this horse. So Jay Privman does this great article every year in late July, early August, where he goes around to all the barns at Del Mar, figures out who does each trainer think are going to be their big 2-year-olds, and it's helped me a lot. Even if horses like Missy P was in that list, and we just saw her a week ago finally debut, but she lived up to the hype. Hot Rod Charlie was a horse that was discussed at that point. And I knew about him because he's a half-brother to Mitoli. Now, yes, he's by Oxbow, but he's a half-brother to Mitoli. Did I think he was going to be able to handle routing really well like he has? No, I'm pretty impressed by that. But he is by Oxbow, standing at Calumet Farm, so he's got that going for him. I love that I agree with you, Aaron, I love that the horses are going against each other in a major prep before the Derby. They're not waiting. I loved it because I want to see how they're going to stack up, because this is the first real measuring stick that we have to compare what we've seen in California and what we've seen elsewhere. So this is going to be a great measuring stick, especially with the news that Life is Good is out now. I think this is going to be important for understanding where the rest of the California horses, without Life is Good, everybody who is exiting the Robert B. Lewis is pretty much the top of the list in California right now. So it's going to be a good move here. I do have a question about Proxy. If you want to keep talking about Hot Rod Charlie for a bit, we can. But I do want to bring up something about Proxy and ask you guys a question about him, whenever that's appropriate.
No, go ahead. Go ahead right now. It's appropriate right now. Real quick, we can hear the typing, Brian says. That's because Magic is the loudest typer in the history of typers. Okay, Magic, go ahead. Question about Proxy.
Top 5 for sure. So with Hot Rod Charlie, he improved routing and adding blinkers. Mandaloon, he improved adding blinkers. Proxy's adding blinkers. Blinkers are not a magical cure-all for every horse, and sometimes they hurt. And I'm wondering, because we saw what happened with Howard Charlie, especially because just last race in the Risen Star with Mandaloon, that he improved. I wonder, are we putting too much stock into this, and is adding blinkers going to hurt Proxy versus put him over the edge? Is that anything that you guys had considered? Because I know you're both big on Proxy.
Go ahead, Vinny.
Yeah, I mean, I think I said before you got on, I think we're going to know very early on how he likes running with blinkers, because he's normally been very forwardly placed. And if he, like, you see sometimes when horses add blinkers, they do not break as sharp, and they end up being a few lengths back where they should be. And if he does that, I think it's kind of an experiment with him. But I do like the fact that they're trying it now rather than say he gets to the Derby. I mean, I still think he needs to run well, even with like the news that Life is Good is out. I still think he needs to run top 3 here for them to actually send this horse to the Derby. If he finishes like 4th, and even though 4th probably gets him enough points here to like basically be in based on how it goes every year, I don't know if they would send him depending on how the finish is. So I think this is like let's see if that's really a problem or not, because he has had issues passing horses in the stretch.
Yeah, I'll weigh in on a couple of things here. I thought Vinny said that perfectly. And the one thing I really want to jump in on, John White, who is the greatest handicapper alive, he has a Derby strike system. And one of the strikes is, trying an equipment change going into the Derby. So what Vinny said is really important. If this horse was putting on those blinkers for the Kentucky Derby, I'd be really scared. Think Palace Malice, for example. He put the blinkers on for the Derby. He ran away. He got scared. He heard all the noise. He couldn't see the horses, and he just ran and faded. So I love that they're doing it here. I think it's a really good idea to do it here. And if it is a disaster, well, at least now we know, and we didn't learn this in the Kentucky Derby, the biggest race of the horse's life. To your point, Magic, as he leaves, I kind of agree. One of two things are going to happen, right, Vinny? Broxy's going to be a little more focused, not be quite as goofy, and finish better, or he's kind of going to run off. It's one of those two things. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you what's going to happen.
And I would honestly be like, if they try to set the pace with him today, I would be completely okay with that if he finishes well, because this is my big thing with Life is Good being out now, is who's your pace horse in the Derby? I mean, at the moment, it doesn't look like Caddo River's getting in. And besides Life is Good, Concert Tour set the pace in the Arkansas Derby, but not the Rebel, but it wasn't it wasn't blistering quick. You didn't have Medina Spirit, again, sets decent paces, but nothing ridiculous. There's really no pace. The Derby at the moment without Life is Good, I think is searching for somebody to really set the pace out of going 1.25 miles. And if if Proxy puts blinkers on today, they send him to the front and he sets a decent pace and can hold on and win. I don't see why they don't keep the blinkers on for the Derby. And
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the same goes. I mean, honestly, I think the same goes for Mandaloun, because he's shown tactical speed before too. If they just send him to the front today and he holds on, like you said earlier, this is a big race for the Kentucky Derby, because this has been a tough group all prep season, and a couple of them have shown tactical speed, where and now without the main speed horse in the Derby, that's all more important.
Listen, if you haven't been convinced that Vinny knows what he's talking about, the last 5 minutes should hammer it home for you. I thought you made two really good points. Number one, the pace dynamic of this Derby, it's blown up. We have to start over from what's going to happen from a pace standpoint. I 100% agree, Vinny. If Proxy's in front at the half-mile goal, I think it's a good thing. Because here's why. Proxy, Mandaloun, Midnight Bourbon. What do we know about all three of them? They've got speed and they can stay. So if Proxy turns for home with the lead and we know he can stay, it's going to be tough to pass. I think that might be what they're thinking. They may be thinking, you know what, he has trouble kind of getting past horses in the stretch, but if he's in front and they got to come get him, maybe accidentally he'll just stay the trip. So I 100% agree. I think that's why the blinkers are on today. Jared's back. Magic's back. Jared, we haven't got any thoughts from you on this race. Let's hear them now.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been kind of listening in the background a little bit while I've been sipping on my drink. No, I mean, I'm kind of with you on the proxy. Like, I just feel like this is either the key to him pushing over the edge, and we see him kind of win impressively, or it's like that's not. It's going to be the same thing where he just feels like a horse that's going to be like a perennial underneath horse time and time again. I feel like this is make no mistake about it, it's a big race for all of them. Big race for him. Hot Rod Charlie to me, and obviously I'm slightly biased because he's on my fantasy team, but just given what his pedigree looks like on both, like whether it be from being a half to Matoli, but also being his dad is his name's Oxbow, and where is he from?
He stands at Calumet Farm.
That's what I thought. And just given that, both of those sides, like Matoli's going to be one, like he was one that could win sprinting. He won the Met Mile. He has a lot of grit, and Hot Rod showed that last time out. So I think he's going to be a threat down the entire lane. I just don't know if he's good enough. If he doesn't finish top 3, I'd be a little bit surprised here. So I think Hot Rod Charlie fits in. I picked Mandaloon on top just because I thought that last race was kind of a breakthrough performance with him. And I think he's the best Brad Cox horse. That's right. I think he's the best Brad Cox horse, Mandaloon.
Wow, you've been high on essential quality, so that surprises me.
I have, but I kind of feel like Mandaloon has been way too under the radar all along. Like and sometimes these fairgrounds horses are, you kind of forget about it down here. But I just feel like he's the horse that, I'm not a huge fan, and I know it's happened like with Nyquist and some of these horses that I'm not a huge fan of, like the powerful 2-year-old, champions converting over to being Derby winners. I just feel like sometimes they shoot their load a little too early.
Yeah. Presented by Manscaped, right?
Yeah, we did a Manscaped. Matt, you give me Manscaped read for us?
Oh.
I got a video loaded. You want me to play it for you?
Did you use the same razor to trim your hair too on the top?
Dude, it was getting so shaggy. It was so bad.
Which head are you talking about?
Yes.
Anyways, all right, we are 3 minutes to post. Big race here, folks. Of course, you get in, you win here, you're in the Kentucky Derby. 100 points to the winner. Top 2, you're in the Kentucky Derby, frankly, and really depends on who's third. You might also be in the Kentucky Derby. So, like we've laid out many times, this race is even more vital than we thought it would be. Say 6 hours ago, with Life is Good being out now. So we're looking. If you're looking for a new horse, maybe he's in here. Final thoughts, final picks. Let's do the same thing. And this might be a little easier. Let's just say who's your pick in the race, and how serious are you on that horse moving forward into the Kentucky Derby? Halterman, you go.
Well, these last races, I get butterflies in my stomach when they get ready to run, and I didn't think I would get that today, but with the Life is Good being out and everything being so wide open, I've got butterflies in my stomach 2 minutes opposed to Louisiana Derby. I picked Mandaloon on top. I just think this Brad Cox horse is going in the right directions. The blinkers really helped. I do like Proxy a lot too. As far as moving forward, after the news we got a couple hours ago, stay tuned after the race. I'll let you know. I think there's a shot that we're going to be talking about the winner of this race having a shot.
Okay, I guess I've moved over now, so I'll go. I'll do Mandaloon for me. I really think he's the goods. Wins here, and I think he goes into the Kentucky Derby as there was obviously much time. There's some time left. He's top 3 choice in the Kentucky Derby, so I think he's the real deal and only continuing to get better. So I think Mandaloon, Magic.
Mandaloon for this race, and I'm sticking with essential quality. I've been on it from the very start. I don't have a reason to get off of him yet, so I'm going to stick with him. What about you, Vinny?
I'm going to go with Proxy here, and I'm on Concert Tour.
There you go. Gosh, 1 minute to post.
Can I talk about one long shot that I think is just completely getting ignored on the board?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bezos at 37-1 right now. Horse you finish fourth in the Risen Star, first time going around 2 turns. He should improve going around 2 turns, and he finished well in that race. So the little bit of added distance should help. I'm not saying he can win, but like I feel like he's to hit the board at 37-1. I feel like he's a very logical horse. I think that can finish well, and like if I know one of the big issues with Midnight Bourbon is a lot of people don't think he's going to get the distance, and that's why he's 7-1 currently against horses he's beaten. If he can't get the distance and all, I think the 8's going to be coming good late, especially if for some reason the pace is hot. So at 38-1, I think he's a horse that you should at least include on the bottom of your trifectas if you're playing them.
Man, I didn't even remember this horse's name. Now I got to think. 8 Obezos for the call. I'm saying.
Yeah.
He didn't run awful in that race, did he? He really didn't. And if your point is correct, and maybe Midnight Bourbon just kind of fades late. Yeah, 38-1 underneath the try.
He was what? I think he was 15. He was 15 or 20-1 in the Risen Star, and now you're getting double that here, and you're just adding distance for his second time around 2 turns. I mean, I don't think he's good enough to win, but I mean, if you're looking if you're convinced Mandaloon's gonna win and you're looking for value underneath him, he's drifting up too. He's almost 40-1. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if this horse hits the Try or Super. I'd be more shocked if the 1 or the 2 did than if the 8 did.
Sorry, Magic. I know that burns a little bit. I mean, Starting Your Dreams is your horse.
Well, I don't care about that one. I really didn't know there were distance concerns about Midnight Bourbon being the son of the only 2-time World Cup or Breeders' Cup Tour World Champion. It is now. I was trying to do it. This is why. I know. This is I need more beer. I'll get it next time. Wow. Are there really distance concerns about Midnight Bourbon though? Yeah, I haven't heard that. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I don't think he's I've always thought he's been a little probably 1 1/16 is as far as he's wanted to go. I as good as Malibu Moon has been, I feel like they're that side is not. It's kind of like the Quality Road thing with me. I just feel like Malibu Moon's decent, but for some reason, you get beyond 1 1/16 with the Colts.
So hold on a second. So Malibu Moon, you're saying is concerning for you, but you're okay with playing Obezos, who's a son of Orb, and Orb being a son of Malibu Moon. Yep. So why is there a difference there?
Just running style. You have one. Midnight Bourbon wants to be near the front, and Obezos is going to make one. He's going to make one big move. So, I mean, when we talk about distance limitations, it's not okay, well, I mean, any horse can really get 1.25 miles. It's just how quick they can do it.
Authentic did it, yeah.
Right. Exactly. But Midnight Bourbon's going to try to set the pace, and I feel like his pedigree he's probably going to hit a little bit of a wall, whereas Obezos is going to sit probably 8 lengths behind the pace and just make one big run, and he's got his pedigree's not it's not awful. So I don't think he can win, but I think he could pass a horse like Midnight Bourbon, who probably is not going to go gate to wire at 1 mile 3/16.
All right, good explanation. Are beginning to load into the gate. Looks like the 1 and 2 are in. So let's take it down to track announcer Aaron Halterman for the call of the Louisiana Derby.
Well, thank you, Jared, Curtis, and Vinny. I appreciate the setup here as we load into the Louisiana Derby. 3 horses are in. We're trying to take our giant step towards Kentucky here. We'll see who does it. 6-5 favorite Mandolin into the gate. 3 left to load. We got the 4 Proxy, who's given him a little bit of a trouble here. Proxy acting wild. The 7 Midnight Bourbon into the gate. So Obezos and Proxy left to go. They're giving Proxy a little pat. He's in. Obezos is left, and then we'll run the Louisiana Derby at the fairgrounds. They're in the gate. And they are off the Louisiana Derby to maybe not a perfect beginning. Looks like Proxy got pinched a little bit, but he recovered pretty nicely. and shouldn't be too much of an excuse for Proxy after that start, although he's going to be a little wide going into the first turn, it looks like, from there. It's going to be Hot Rod Charlie, the son of Oxbow, standing at Calumet Farm. Will set the pace here. Midnight Bourbon is second, and look at this. Mandaloon on the outside is going to go up to challenge those two. He's 3 wide, but he's third going into the first turn. It's going to be Hot Rod Charlie in front. Midnight Bourbon stalking in second, and we've got it looks like Mandaloon in third, and Right and Just will sit fourth with Proxy fifth. So Proxy, who we thought might set the pace with these blinkers on, is going to sit fifth right now, a little bit further behind than maybe Vinny likes, as he has a disgusting look on his face. Charlie sets the early pace right now, and it's Midnight Bourbon stalking, not giving him any breathers in second. 47.04 for the half mile. It's Hot Rod Charlie to the front. It's Midnight Bourbon in second. Right and Just third. You've got Mandaloon, the 6-5 Louisiana Derby favorite in fourth. He won the Risen Star. Can he do it again? Hot Rod Charlie setting the pace. He's still in front. The LeCompte winner. Midnight Bourbon in second. Mandaloon starts to make a little bit of move here as they approach the far turn. It is Hot Rod Charlie still ahead. Midnight Bourbon in second. Mandaloon starting to ask the question, and he's not making up a ton of ground just yet. He is in third. Now Mandaloon starts to get with it as he's under a vigorous ride, but it's Hot Rod Charlie to the front. Hot Rod Charlie turns to the front ahead. Midnight Bourbon is taking over. Midnight Bourbon has got the lead. Hot Rod Charlie battling back. Here we go. It's going to be really close here. Midnight Bourbon and Hot Rod Charlie. Mandaloon is not firing. Mandaloon not firing.
Come on, Hot Rod. Come on, Hot Rod.
He's desperately close. Hot Rod Charlie. Can he take him? He's going to do it. Hot Rod Charlie, the son of Oxbow. Ready to Calumet Farm. Going to do it. Midnight Bourbon holds for second. It looks like Obezos at 43-1 gets third. The wire in Louisiana. Hot Rod Charlie.
Jared, we got that exactive. We needed that.
Winning over a tiring Midnight Bourbon.
Wow.
Impressive.
That was. I can't.
Jared, we got the exacta.
Yeah.
I can't.
Good job.
Man, that was something. Went to the lead. I did not think we would see him on the lead, and boy, wow, that was, golly, that got me going. That was great. You know, it looked like at the top of the stretch, your horse, Magic Midnight, was going to kind of come over on top of him. Hot Rod did exactly what we thought he would do in the lane. He just doesn't quit.
That was very impressive. He never quit. That was such a he got a really nice breather there. 25 seconds from the 3/4 to the mile.
Hey, Obezos finished third there for
He ran great.
Good call, Vinny. Good call.
Hey, he may have been second. We don't know about these
No,
photos
he was
at the fairgrounds.
Yeah, right.
He was third. Midnight second.
You don't know these photos at the fairgrounds. He may have been
I'm
second.
ahead of you, Aaron. I'm ahead of you. Midnight got second.
I'm just kidding. Calm down.
Okay, what's crazier? Hot Rod's performance, gate to wire, really kind of drawing off a little bit there at the end, or the fact that I think Mandaloon just now finished the race. Like he really didn't have a lot of excuses in that race. He absolutely did not fire. What's more concerning, or what's more like very positive on Hot Rod? He became a serious player, or Mandaloon is okay. Hang on.
Mandaloon, wow.
I mean, I sat here and said that I thought he was the best cox horse. Can I take that back? Because that was really, really bad.
That just wasn't.
But it was so bad he wasn't even. You got to think something went wrong, you know?
Well, there's one, it could be something went wrong. I mean, that's what the issue with running without Lasix. You just don't know. But I think he kind of suffered from the same thing Proxy did early with the blinkers. You know, the blinkers were great last time, but he was more forwardly placed. And today, he wasn't forwardly placed. He was sitting behind. He was trying to stalk. And with blinkers, sometimes that's what happens is these horses just no-show because where they're angled, they don't see the other horses. You know, that happens. So, I mean, I think it's very concerning for Mandaloon. I can't believe Hot Rod Charlie just set the pace like that. That was unreal. But yeah, that was something.
And Hot Rod wasn't going slow on the front end. I mean, they were what was it, like a 40 or 23 and 47 going a mile and 3/16. I mean, it wasn't like they were crawling. I'm watching the replay here in the middle of the turn. Rosario's really kind of starting to go on him, and it kind of looks like Midnight Bourbon's going to cruise right by him. And boy, he just when he kind of gets in that fight there, he turns it on, and I mean, damn, that's he draws away. That was impressive for sure. I mean, this is a horse. Hey, his dad did it right, Halterman.
I was in the shower this morning practicing my call, and I was so hoping that Hot Rod Charlie would win this race so I could call Oxbow's name a couple times. And he sure as hell looked like Oxbow winning that Preakness right there. He really did. Man, this horse just got to the lead. They said to hell with it. Joel Rosario said for the second straight week, I should say, let's get to the front. You come beat us, boys. They couldn't get by him. He just dug down deep. I'm very proud of Oxbow standing at Calumet Farm. I'm very proud of Hot Rod Charlie. And California, they may have lost their number one contender, but they're looking pretty good after this one because, Proxy kind of just did the same thing he always does. He kind of got a shitty trip, but he still
He finished well though. He was making up ground late. He did get his trip wasn't ideal. Mm-hmm. I don't think the blinkers were the issue. I mean, like overall, I don't think that was the fix. I hate this. I hate to say it, but like he might just be one of those horses like Tacitus, just doesn't win. He just doesn't win.
I think you hit it right on the head.
He just thought like there was a part at the top of the stretch where he was making a move, and I thought, okay, like he's gonna rally, but he's a grinder, and like it's very hard for grinders to catch horses like that, and maybe one day he'll get the right field. I still would probably use him underneath in the Derby as a win contender, probably not, but I mean he hasn't run a bad race in his career. I mean, that was probably the worst race he's run. He got knocked around a lot in the beginning and was wide. So not awful, but yeah, definitely not what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. I think the shock of the whole thing is Mandaloon was sitting right there with these horses. He was done at the top of the stretch. There was not any fight. There was nothing. He was done.
Well, that's back-to-back weekends now where Brad Cox had the favorite in a prep. Was it last week when he had Cattle River?
Yes.
The loss? Yeah. So Cattle River loses and just a complete no-show. And afterwards, Brad Cox said, I don't even have an excuse. I don't know what the hell went wrong. I wonder if he's going to say the same thing after Mandaloon. It's just like, he's like, what the hell just happened? And now I'm scared about his special quality. Everybody, the wheels are falling off the Brad Cox train fast. They can try and glue him back on.
Right. I mean, at least last week, Concert Tour they took it to him. They took it to Caddo River. I mean, that was just, right from the beginning, when neither him or Proxy went out to the lead, I was like, like this isn't good.
You watch that race, and I mean, it's one thing if Hot Rod. I kind of assumed if Hot Rod was going to win this race. I mean, you're talking another photo finish. He drew off at the end. He was. Bezos was coming up on Midnight Bourbon. He wasn't coming up on Hot Rod. So again, this is mile 3/16. The closest any of these horses ever ran. Are going to run until they get to the mile and a quarter. So I don't know. I mean, that whether he improved that much, whether we talked about this on Blinkers Off, Halterman. Do you think it's a matter of him improving a ton, or do you think that was a matter of he ran pretty much? I guess we'll see what the buyer comes back as. Ran pretty much what we've seen from him. He's been facing some good horses, but SoCal's just better.
The last thing, I still think it's a lot better. I really, really do. Listen, Magic celebrates, but two things. Number one, don't take anything away from that performance. That was a ballsy ass performance. It's the Manscaped performance of the week. Hot Rod Charlie, get your Manscaped dudes promo code for 20% off free shipping. But Hot Rod Charlie, just showed so much heart. I mean, I swear to God, it really did. I love Oxbow, but it really did remind me of Oxbow. He just kept fighting and fighting and fighting them off. And I think Midnight Bourbon just wasn't quite good enough. But Mandaloon was nowhere to be found, and Proxy's just a screwball, and he took advantage of it. So, but yeah, California looks awfully good. Let's not forget Medina Spirit and Roman Centurion beat this horse last time out. So,
yep.
And to your point, Magic, you said, I'm a little scared of Essential Quality now. Well, Essential Quality beat this horse. So he's a good measuring stick. I thought that coming in, and now coming out, it's like, oh no, the fairground sucks again. Oh, that's sad for them. Seriously, I wanted them to be good.
I don't see it so much that way because Jared brought up this point on blinkers off that I thought was really valuable, which is something that Keith DeStormo had said he was going to do, which he loved the timing. He loved the extra distance of that fairground stretch in the Louisiana Derby, but he also loved the timing where the third start of the form cycle is going to be in Louisville, which is exactly why Essential Quality has been one of the reasons Essential Quality has been my top pick for the Derbies, because they're timing it where that third off the layoff where you really see them improve is going to be the Kentucky Derby. And to Jared, Jared brought up this point, so all credit to him for staying down blinkers off first. This was the perfect intermediate spot, plenty of rest after Robert B. Lewis. Come here, win, so you can handle the routing and the step up in competition. I think this makes him I don't want to say a serious contender, but this definitely improved Hot Rod Charlie in my books. And Vinny, I'm so sorry I stepped over you.
You're good. I'm curious who rides him for the Derby. I mean, because I doubt Rosario's going to jump off Concert Tour.
Right.
And you got to imagine with the way we were talking about the pace for the Derby. I mean, he went 23:47. That's better than most of the horses, most of the preps have been. So all of a sudden, like, here you have a horse that has never been on the lead at first call. Now it could potentially be your pace horse if they get somebody like I'm trying to even think who's available to ride him. I mean, but yeah, he could be a serious pace horse for the Derby, which I didn't see happening. I don't know if anybody had him on the lead today. But
does Mikey need a ride?
He does now.
Yeah.
I know
Nick Feldman said Flavian Pratt, he doesn't have a horse to ride right now unless he's going to ride Silver.
I was going to say Pratt's rode him before too.
What about Mario Gutierrez, since it's Doug O'Neill?
Oh yeah. Why was that trainer change today? Is it because Doug O'Neill can't train in Louisiana?
No, he's suspended.
He can't train anywhere right now.
Oh, he's suspended. Oh yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. By the way, Aaron, did you notice this? That the Barnes, the overall Barnes, since his assistant took over, the percentage has gone up in the last week and a half?
It does every single time. When Mora takes over, it goes sky high. Bet Mora.
He can't lose at Santa Anita right now.
I pick Mora almost every time that horse looks competitive at Santa Anita. I pick Mora. It happens like that every single time.
That's disgusting.
I'm not gonna comment why. I'm just saying.
California.
Gross.
Oh man. Well,
I'm out of beer again. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that was that performance with Mandaloon though is that's just concerning.
Very.
I'm curious and that could be one of those things too. Like if all of a sudden he bounces back in his next effort, like, because I'm assuming he's still going to go to the Derby because he's got the points. Like if he bounces back in the Derby and it's like, well, now with the running without Lasix, like you never know. Like horses are just going to be straight hit or miss.
That was
bad.
All of a sudden, you went from Mandaloon winning that race as a Kentucky Derby possibly Kentucky Derby favorite. You never know what happens in these last few preps. To like you're just scratching your head, wondering what the hell was it, and when where will we see him again? Where will we just train him up to the Kentucky Derby, and you basically are going to get where you thought you might get 3-1 on him, 4-1. You're going to get 10-1 on him after that effort. I don't know. I mean. It's one of those performances that when it comes to for me, when it comes to picking long shots and stuff, you look for a horse that if they ran a really poor race and it kind of came out of nowhere, you're like, well, you're going to get a better price next time out. And there's really no reason for how poorly that horse ran last time. So you can bet back. But that race there, it was so bad. It wasn't like he didn't even try, he got, and it wasn't And the other thing too is like, other than even if he finishes second, I mean, he faced all the same horses.
Yeah,
he faced all the same horses that he just dominated last time out. So there's just not a lot of reasoning behind it.
But I mean, this race might get 5. You might get 5 horses from this race in the Derby. I mean, you got Hot Rod Charlie, Midnight Bourbon now has enough points. Oh, Bezos is probably right on the borderline of getting in. Proxy's probably right on the borderline of getting in, and you got Mandaloon who already has the points.
Yeah,
I mean, like that's crazy that you might get 5 horses out of this field that are in the starting gate, and I don't. It wasn't a bad time. Hot Rod Charlie ran really good. I still question how if he can do that in Kentucky. But that was.
I mean, I think I listen. I'm thrilled that he won. It puts me tied for first place in the fantasy league, and obviously have a real shot. But he's not on my list of being a horse I'm going to pick to win the Kentucky Derby. I'll be clear. I think he's at very least, he's a pace setter. At the very worst, he's a horse that hits the board because he just doesn't stop.
Just very quickly, guys, they're running this stakes race here at Oaklawn that has Cazadero in it and also has Jackson Traveler. So just going to look at this just real quick. The D. Wayne Lucas trained Lockup is ahead right now by about 6 lengths, but he just ran a 21 and 1.7 opening quarter. I say this because Cazadero was like a huge horse last summer at Saratoga. He is last up the back stretch. Jackson Traveler has won like every race at Laurel Park. He looks like he's in trouble now, as it's the one Sir Wellington for Mac Robertson, who looks like he's going to take the lead. So I just want to throw that in there because I know we were excited about Cazadero. He's not running a step. It didn't look like to me.
He definitely needed one off the layoff.
Jackson Traveler second.
Yeah.
Cazadero did kind of run on a little bit.
After that.
Oh, shit. Jackson Traveler's rerouting.
Oh, wow. That one moved over to the rail and just stopped.
Woo-hoo, did the one stop or what? Yeah.
The one moved over to the rail and just stopped. That should not have been that close.
Alex Conchari.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wanted to stop because I thought Cazadero might run well here, and then I stopped and that he was in last. So sorry about that.
Y'all can stay on here. I have to go. But I do want to know before I leave, I want to know your guys' final thoughts on the Louisiana Derby and in particular Hot Rod. So is Hot Rod a contender or pretender after that? Is he like a horse that definitely is in the mix for at least a top 3 finish in the Kentucky Derby off of that? Or is it like he ran great? I don't really think I'm not going to play him moving forward off of that.
For me, I think he's a contender now because of the defection of Life is Good, as I said 100 times. But yeah, I think he's a contender. Overall, it's a really sad day for Louisiana because I think third or fourth bet. Well, probably third. No, Concert Tour, Medina Spirit, then Hot Rod, probably right there in third. Yeah, third best California horse just came and beat those horses that we thought were decent. So sad for Louisiana, but yeah, Hot Rod is a contender, and California they're the goods right now.
Magic.
Yeah, California's the goods. What else do I need to say? No, I thought this was great. Again, that we got to see. We got a measuring stick, and the measuring stick came over, and if you grew up in a household like me, that measuring stick whacked you on the hand whenever you did something really stupid. So it's good to see that we got the measuring stick so we can move forward off of this. I think that if and when Proxy shows up in a major, like on the Triple Crown, one of those 3 races, I think we're going to get a little bit of a price off of this race. I thought that he had the biggest excuse because as soon as they went out of the gate and I saw the 2 hours horse on the outside of him do that to him, I thought, well, that's going to be bad for Proxy. But it sticks with. I keep saying I think this is the horse that wins the Jim Dandy in the summertime. Did Testis win the Jim Dandy or just come close? Because Vinny brought up Testis.
He fell at the gate. He fell at the gate and then missed and then lost the tax by like a half a length.
Oh, that's right. I know Tax won that race. I'm sticking with essential quality, but this was great. It was great to see. I think this benefits, and someone said it in the chat, this actually promotes essential quality a bit, because this is a horse who came into the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and was flying late in the stretch, and Aaron was looking at his program going, who the fuck is this 13 horse or something? He's like, who the fuck is this horse? And you realize it's Hot Rod Charlie, and he almost won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. And Doug O'Neill was doing that off of maiden win and showed a lot of confidence. So he continues showing confidence in this horse. I think you have to take him seriously now, especially we'll see what happens in 2 weeks with the Santa Anita Derby. So we got that to look forward to in a couple weeks here.
Vinny, where are you at with Hot Rod?
I think he's a contender just because of how versatile he's shown to be. I mean, in the juvenile, he comes from the clouds. In the Robert B. Lewis, he sits kind of off and just misses. And here he sets the pace. Mm-hmm. He seems like one of those horses that might just be able to make his own trip. And the question is just going to be is if anybody's actually better than him. But I don't see any reason why you should throw him off, especially for exactas and trifectas. I think he's a perfect board hitting horse because it seems like no matter what happens at the start, this horse is able to adapt.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're right. You said it perfect. I think it just definitely seems like it's more what the thing that always interests me with him is that it's his finishing power. You know how he doesn't quit ever since adding blinkers. He's gutty. He digs in, and yeah, I'm with you. I don't know that I'll just put it that way. He's a contender in my book at this point. I don't know if I'll pick him to win, but I probably won't. But that was impressive for sure. So I'm gonna head out of here. You guys can finish this thing off. Yeah, my boy Hot Rod puts me in first place in the fantasy league. No more claiming. Actually, I'm the only elite guy in the league that has not claimed one single horse all year. And I'm going to stay that way because guess what? I'm just riding this out. You know what? I'm going to have Highly Motivated. It's going to upset Essential Quality in the Bluegrass. And then I'm going to have 2 winners there. And then, you guys all forgot about me. Pulled the Zenyatta going from last to first. No big deal. I'm going to talk shit for as long as I can because this might be the only win I get. So... It has Ete Indine written all over it. Remember how impressive that horse was, and then he was gone. But hey, thanks everybody for tuning in, and you guys can wrap this sucker up.
Cool.
All right, Jared Magic, you muted. We can't hear you.
Sorry. Sorry, I've been typing. I've been Kermit for the frogging over here. I was going to say he just said he wraps everything up perfectly and then says, "Okay, you guys take care of it," and then just pieces the fuck out. And he, by the way, still here. He's just in the background. So fuck you, Jared. Use your Manscaped thing on your beard for fuck's sake.
I will. You want me to wrap it up? I've done this since January. I feel like I'll ask, who's your Kentucky Derby pick? Who's your Kentucky Derby long shot? I just think that's just the easiest way to wrap this up. Magic, I'll kick it to you. Kentucky Derby pick, Kentucky Derby long shot.
Essential Quality is still my pick. Long shot at this point. I don't think there's a fucking, because Hot Rod Charlie would have been a long shot until 10 minutes ago. So fuck. You know what? I'm texting with my good friend John Lees right now about it. I still think Midnight Bourbons because he doesn't like to get passed. Horses don't pass him. He doesn't pass horses, but he also doesn't let horses pass him. So if you want a long shot, fuck it. Midnight Bourbon. Why not? He's got the running style.
All right, Vinny, bring a little bit of sanity to the show now.
Please, Vinny.
I'm on concert tour, and I guess for my long shot, I'm gonna go with Helium because we don't really know what he is. He could either be really, good or he's gonna be really bad.
All right, I agree with that. I mean, Helium. All of a sudden, these horses like Helium have a shot because Life is Good isn't in the race. That's my opinion of it. I'm with you, Vinny. I'm going to go concert tour, pending, of course, the last preps. But as of right now, I would pick concert tour to win. Boy, long shot. I'll go Proxy. Why not? I still think Proxy is really good. I just don't think he mentally can put it together. So I'll go Proxy. I just think he's goofy. But I think blinkers will come off for Proxy next time.
I hope so.
Concert tour and Proxy for me. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Vinny, Magic, Jared's gone. Jared must have a hot Tinder date. That's good. Good for him.
He's got to get cleaned up using his Manscaped tools.
That's right. Yes. And anyway, so thank you all for joining us. Congratulations for everybody that hit tickets today. And we'll see you next week. Florida Derby next week. We'll see everybody right back here. Big day, 10 stakes on that card. So we're going to have a good time. So good luck to everybody for the rest of the night. I'm sure you degenerates are playing Sam Houston. And we'll see you next week.